Did you know that more than half of Americans say they don't know much about Social Security or how it will fit into their retirement plan? Many people think they understand their benefits, but there's one big area that often remains a mystery: whether they're even insured under Social Security. Hello everyone, I'm Anthony Janak, and today we're going to talk about something really important but often misunderstood, which is your insured status under Social Security. Understanding your insured status can actually decide if you'll get certain benefits in the future. If you don't know where you stand, you could end up caught by surprises when you need those benefits most. Let's start by clearing up some common misconceptions about Social Security eligibility. The first one is, I've paid into Social Security, so I'm automatically eligible for all benefits. This is not exactly true. Just paying Social Security taxes does not guarantee you qualify for every benefit. You need to meet specific work requirements. One of these work requirements includes work credits. So work credits, I've never heard of those, you might say. Many people don't realize that Social Security tracks work credits. These credits determine if you're eligible for benefits, and you need a certain number of them to qualify for all benefits. Now you might be saying, I've been working for years, so I must be fully insured. This is not necessarily true. Some assume they have a long work history means they're fully insured without checking if they meet the actual criteria. Misunderstandings like these can lead to missed benefits, either being denied a benefit you expected to get or not claiming a benefit you could have received because you didn't know you qualified. So I keep mentioning this insured status. So what does insured status mean in Social Security, and how do you know if you have it? Let's break it down into key pieces. The first one is work credits, where work credits are the building blocks of insured status. When you work and pay Social Security taxes, you earn credits. You can earn up to 4 credits per year. The amount of earnings needed for one credit changes a bit each year, generally increasing over time. For example, in 2025, it takes about $1,810 in earnings to earn one credit. Whether you earn that over a full year or just a few months, once you hit that dollar amount, you get the credit. But you can't earn more than 4 credits in 1 year, no matter how much you make. There are also different levels of insured status. To be fully insured, your Social Security benefits like retirement or survivor benefits, most people need 40 credits, which is roughly 10 years of work. Once you have 40 credits, you're generally considered fully insured for life, even if you stop working. However, there's an alternate rule for people who haven't reached 40 credits yet, especially if you're younger and something unexpected happens like disability or death at a younger age. This rule says that you can be fully insured if you have at least 1 credit for each year between the year you turn 21 and the year before the event of retirement age, disability, or death, with a minimum of 6 credits. In simpler terms, if you're 30 years old and face a disability or died, you wouldn't be expected to have 40 credits since you haven't worked 10 plus working years after 21. Instead, you need 1 credit for each year from 21 to 29. For example, from 21 to 29 is 9 years, so you'd need 9 credits. And since 9 is above the minimum 6, that will qualify. This works even if you haven't worked a full 10 years. You could still be fully insured for certain benefits as long as you meet that 1 credit per year rule, or with a minimum of 6 credits total. There's also something called currently insured. This is a partial status that mainly matters for survivor benefits or benefits for your family if you pass away. Being currently insured generally means you've worked recently. Specifically, it means you have at least 6 credits in the 13 quarters right before certain events, such as the quarter you died or became eligible for disability or retirement. In practice, this usually translates to having worked about 1.5 years out of the last 3 years before this event. Why currently insured is important is because if someone dies without being fully insured, their spouse or young children might still get survivor benefits if that person was currently insured or had those 6 recent credits. It's basically a way to ensure some protection if a worker dies young with limited work history. It's not as robust as being fully insured, but it's better than nothing for the family. After currently insured status, we have disability insured status, and this is for Social Security disability insurance. The rules mix both of the above. You genuinely need to be fully insured and have a recent work history. This is often called disability insured status. The fully insured requirement is you usually must have the same fully insured status we discussed, often 40 credits, or the alternate rule if you're younger, with the recent work requirement, which you must have earned a certain number of credits in the years leading up to your disability. How many recent credits you need depends on how old you are and when you became disabled. If you're under 24, you may need only 6 credits earned in the 3 years just before your disability starts. So basically 1.5 years of work in the last 3 years. If you're between 24 and 30, you need credits for about half the time between age 21 and when you became disabled. For example, if you became disabled at 27, that's 6 years after 21, so you'd need roughly 3 years of work in that period. If you're 31 or older, you generally need at least 20 credits in the last 10 years before disability. In other words, you should have worked about 5 out of the last 10 years. These rules ensure that if you claim disability benefits, you have a recent attachment to the workforce in addition to having a long-term work record. If you stop working for too long and then become disabled, you might lose that recent work connection and not qualify for SSDI, even if you have plenty of total credits. After talking about the multiple statuses you could have, you might be wondering, how do I know if I'm insured or how many credits I have? The good news is it's pretty easy to check. Social Security statement is one way, where the Social Security Administration provides a personal statement that shows your earnings records and how many credits you've earned. You can access this online by creating a My Social Security account on the SSA website, or you can request a paper statement by mail. The statement will typically tell you if you've earned enough credits for retirement or disability benefits and how many credits you have so far. Within your My Social Security account or through SSA's planners, you can see the number of credits, sometimes called quarters of coverage, on your record. There are also calculators and estimators for benefits. The most critical insight is knowing your insured status early gives you the chance to fix any gaps. If you discover that you're not fully insured or don't have the recent work credits needed for a benefit, you still have time to do something about it. For example, you might decide to work a little longer, earn more credits, or make sure you keep a current work connection if you think you might need disability or survival coverage. If you don't have enough credits, certain benefits will simply not be available to you. Imagine thinking you could get Social Security disability or that your family would get survivor benefits, only to find out you're not eligible because of a credit shortage. That would be a nasty surprise when it's too late to change anything. On the other hand, if you know your status, you can plan ahead. Maybe you'll choose to take on an extra year or 2 of work to reach 40 credits. Maybe you'll delay retirement a bit to secure your insured status or increase your benefit. Or you might learn that you are eligible and then focus on how to maximize the benefits you can receive. Let's quickly recap what we've covered. Insured status is the gatekeeper for benefits. You generally must be insured under Social Security for you or your family to receive retirement, survivor, or disability benefits. If you're non-insured, benefits can't be paid. There are different types of insured status as well. Fully insured is usually 40 credits or via the alternate rule for younger workers. Currently insured, at least 6 recent credits in the last 13 quarters, and disability insurance, which is fully insured plus recent work for SSDI. Each has its own criteria. Misunderstanding these rules is common. Many people have incorrect ideas about eligibility, which can lead to surprise denials or missed opportunities. Don't assume, know the actual requirements. You should also check your status now. It's easy to find out how many credits you have by looking at your Social Security statement. Do it now while you still have time to adjust if needed. If you find you're short on credits or lacking recent work, you can still take action, like working longer or not retiring just yet, to secure your benefits. Finally, understanding your Social Security insured status can make a huge difference in your retirement and safety net planning. It might not be the most exciting topic, but it's crucial to know if you want to avoid nasty surprises and make the most of what you're entitled to. Thanks so much for watching. I hope this explanation was helpful and cleared up some myths about insured status. If you found this useful, I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment with what's one thing about Social Security that still confuses you, and let me know. I might be able to clear it up in a future discussion. Again, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next video. And remember, understanding the system now can really pay off later. So go check out your Social Security statement and see where you stand. Good luck and see you next time.